Hey everybody, welcome back to Ragged Edge Lure Works. Today I'm doing a special request lure. My buddy John, John Ames, he's bought a bunch of my lures, but he's also asked me to paint a bunch of his old lures, so you can see some of those videos in the very beginning of this channel. John asked me to paint up 3 of these. This is a Lipless Crankbait. I love this one. But he asked me to paint it up and kind of as a commemorative lure. Him and 2 of his good buddies have been going up to Lake Champlain every year since 1997. And last year was the last year that they were going to do that. So he's asked me to paint up these lipless crankbaits in a largemouth bass pattern. So kind of something similar to this. Although to make it just a little more unique, I am going to be putting the dates 1997 and 2025 on opposite sides down along the lateral line. And so, you know, that square bill was painted using one of these hard body stencils. Obviously, the lipless won't fit in there. So this is going to be something I'm just going to be doing by hand. You guys seen how I do my my stripes on my perch, or the bars on my perch, using a little piece of sponge. I'm going to do something similar to that with the the horizontal lateral line on these lipless crankbaits. So let me show you here what I'm doing. Okay, so the baits have already been primed in opaque white. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover basically the bottom 2/3 or maybe just a little bit over a half with pearlized gold. And then I'm going to do the bottoms, just the very bottom of them, in pearlized white. Then I'm going to top off the gold with this transparent green, and then I'll probably put some detailed moss green on the back, maybe around the eyes. We'll see. Obviously, the bars are going to be black. I didn't bring out any black paint. And then here's the decal that I'm going to put. 1997 on one side, right down the lateral line, and then 2025 on the other side. And let's see how that comes out. I'm anxious to try making a lateral line using a sponge. That should be fun. So hang out. Let's get to painting. All right, we're gonna start off with the pearlized satin gold. And as always with these pearl colors, we're gonna thin it with 4011. Maybe not quite a 50-50 mix, but I want it to be relatively thin. Although I don't want it to be so thin that that it runs all over. Yeah, I'm a paint slob here. All right. I think I got that mixed up pretty well, and it looks close to my desired thickness. I'm going to throw that on with the Iwata Eclipse. Last one. Alright, got a brand new bottle of pearl white that I shook up pretty good. I don't really need a lot of this, so I'm terrible about wasting paint, I tell you. Alright, so I was debating whether or not to put the white on last, but I decided to go ahead and try to cover it up. Just a little bit on the sides, but not a whole lot. On to the next. Okay, change of plans. You know, I was going to use this transparent green. Let's try something a little different. This is that Candy 2.0. This is an ink, and I know that it's quite transparent. So I'm going to top the gold and the top of the back off with Candy 2.0. It's called Poison Green. I'm going to give it a squirt here just to make sure it's a color that I want to try. Let's see, you're supposed to mix this with 40-50. I need to order more 40-50. And it's like 50-50. So let's I'm gonna use, I know it's not gonna take that much, but I'm gonna use a fair amount. All right, clean brush. I think this will work good, and I think it'll look cool, but we'll see. You know, I can always darken it up a little bit with the moss green using a fine overspray, if need be. Throw it all in there. Oh, that's like way too much of a chartreuse color. Shoot. Let's try mixing in a little emerald green. I don't know what this is gonna look like, but let's see if this is much darker. Oh, that's a whole lot darker. All right, let's dump this back in the cup. Let's add. Ooh, yeah, that's just a couple drops, I think, got me to a color I'm much happier with. I think. Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, it's not chartreuse, that's for sure. I'm gonna paint from quite a distance. And I mean, that stuff is so thin, I don't want it to run. Need to do several coats from quite a distance away, I think. Oh yeah, that's better. That's looking pretty good. I'm going to darken that up a lot, obviously. The back I'm going to darken up with moss green. The lateral line, yeah, I think that's going to be all right. All right, next up, detail moss green. Let's see, 40-11. Mix her up. Now this is also going to be fairly light coat. I'm going to darken up around the back and a little bit around the gills, under the chin a little bit. All right. And again, I'm going to turn my pressure down. I'm blowing about 15, excuse me. Closer to 20. All right, that's a little heavy and a little thin. I don't know if it's reacting to the ink. Maybe I should have covered it up with UVLS. I'm gonna do that because that stuff just like beaded right up. So I guess that's a lesson learned right there. Yeah, look what that did. Wow. All right. like I said on this channel, it's all about learning how to do stuff. So I just discovered that I should not put detail moss green over poison green ink. So I'm going to clean out the brush, and I'll be right back. So there's a part of me thinking that I just had that too thin, but I'm not going to take any chances. I'm going to cover these lures up with UVLS and then I'll try putting the moss green on top again. Okay, so I mixed up a new batch of, excuse me, detail moss green. Didn't thin it nearly as much. And I'm just going to kind of go a little bit around the face, down the back, a little bit down the sides. Got a quick dry. That was the one that was kind of messed up. It's going to take more than one coat for sure. A little extra on the back and it'll be fine. Yeah, I like the way that looks, I think. Once you put that lateral line down there. All right. Let's dry this one off and do the next two. All right, I'm back with a Sharpie. So I don't want my lateral line to come any closer than that and any closer than that because I want that 1997 to show up. So the lateral line will be all in there and the 1997 will be in there. And then if I have to, I may, you know, dot it up a little bit with a Sharpie. But let's put it on this side and on this one. Just get it in the same general location. So somewhere right around there. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little scales. And then, what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 on the 10th one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 on the 10th one. So that's what we got. All right. So now I'll mark the other ones and then we'll get that decal on. All right, so when I put the water slide decals on the bottom with my logo on it, I usually like to do that after the first coat of clear has been put on because you're using water, right? Now, I have tried it just over the UVLS, and it has worked without smearing it, but I'm not going to take any chances. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these lateral lines on there, leaving room for the decal, and then I'm going to put clear coat on these things, put the eyeballs in them, put some clear coat on them, and we'll finish the rest up tomorrow when the decals have had a chance to dry. Yeah, that's a pretty wide. So that's kind of my idea, just a random lateral line. Take that down just a tad. Yeah, just something, like I said, really, it's really pretty random. If you look at this thing here, I mean, it's kind of got blots and squares and things pointing up and down. And this is from that stencil. I want to get most of the paint off of it, though. Just kind of random. I've never seen two bass that had the exact same looking lateral line. You know what I mean? And you know, like everybody says, nothing in nature is perfect. I might dispute that a little bit, but all right. Let's just give that a quick dry, and then I'll do the other side. I always like to lock those eyeballs in with epoxy right from the get-go. All right, well, here's the finished product. We've got 3 lipless crankbaits done in a largemouth bass pattern. They've got 1997 on one side and 2025 on the other side. Made these as a commemorative lure for my buddy John and his friends who like to fish up on Lake Champlain every year. So I don't know what I think about these. You know, using the sponge on the lateral line was something I hadn't tried before, and not sure I'm really happy with the way they came out, but it is what it is. So John hasn't seen these yet. This video will be the first time he gets a look at them, and I'm sure he'll tell me what he thinks in the comments. Tell me what you guys think in the comments about a number of things. The issue I had with the moss green paint over the ink, was that a result of a conflict between the two, the ink versus the paint, or was it just that I had the paint too thin? And a sponge as a lateral line is something I'm going to have to work on if I do more bass type lures with something other than the stencil that I use. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.